Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting through the noise on a headline that really made waves globally. President Donald Trump ordering two nuclear submarines repositioned closer to Russia. It's a significant move.
Definitely raises the temperature and a lot of questions, too.
So this deep dive, we're going to expose the core of this escalating tension, try and understand the real stakes. We'll unpack the timeline, the specific remarks that led to this military announcement.
Exactly. And our mission, really, is to get past those headlines. We need to talk about Russia's dead hand system, what that actually means, and critically, the different types of U.S. nuclear submarines, because that distinction matters a lot here. Then we'll connect it all back to the bigger picture. U.S.-Russia relations, the war in Ukraine, it's all intertwined.
Right. The goal is for you listening to get up to speed quickly on something with huge global implications. Let's try and separate the rhetoric from the reality. Okay, so let's jump right in. The spark. Friday, August 1st, 2025, President Trump announces on Truth Social. He's ordered two nuclear submarines repositioned. Appropriate regions, he said, citing highly provocative statements from Dmitry Medvedev.
And Medvedev, it's important to place him. Yes, former Russian president, but now deputy chairman of their Security Council. So his words carry weight. And he does have this tendency for, shall we say, aggressive and sometimes curiously worded attacks online, X, Telegram.
Oh, absolutely. And the speed of this exchange was, staggering. It wasn't just one comment, right? It was back and forth, escalating quickly. It started earlier in July. Trump set that initial 50-day deadline for Putin.
Right, for a peace deal in Ukraine, threatening tariffs.
Then, Monday, July 28th, Medvedev hits back on X. Says Trump's playing the ultimatum game, warns Russia isn't Israel or even Iran.
And basically framed it as a step towards war, not just with Ukraine, but potentially with the U.S. itself.
Yeah. Then, later that same Monday, Trump's in Scotland. He cuts the deadline drastically.
50 days down to
less than 2 weeks, like 10 or 12 days, and repeats the tariff threat.
Okay, wow. So really dialing up the pressure.
Then by midweek, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, Trump's on Truth Social again, directly calling out Medvedev, tells him to watch his words, says he's entering very dangerous territory, even threw in a comment about India and Russia taking their dead economies down together.
Oof. And the final piece before the sub-announcement.
Thursday, July 31st, Medvedev on Telegram. That's when he brings up the mythical dead hand, warning Trump to recall how dangerous it can be.
Chilling. And that's the immediate context Trump gave for moving the subs. He said, just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that, emphasizing that words matter, they can have unintended consequences.
Yeah, right. He later told reporters it was for safety for our people, and specifically because Medvedev was, quote, talking about nuclear.
So the justification is directly tied to that exchange, particularly Medvedev's rhetoric.
It really is striking, isn't it, how fast this all happened online? Does this kind of tweet diplomacy change the game fundamentally?
I think it has to, yeah. It collapses the time frame for traditional diplomacy. That instant feedback loop, it can be really volatile. And speaking of chilling, that dead hand reference, it's profound.
Okay, so what exactly is the dead hand system, for those who might not know?
Right, so it's a Cold War concept, originally, Russia's system, designed to automatically launch its nuclear missiles if it detects a nuclear attack and if its leadership is wiped out. The idea is to guarantee retaliation, even if there's no one left to give the order. It's pretty grim.
Automatic retaliation. So invoking that on Telegram, I mean, is it a credible threat in this context or just, bluster?
Pushing buttons? It's likely a bit of both, isn't it? Yeah. It's definitely psychological warfare, a public reminder of Russia's ultimate deterrent. It aims to deter, to make the other side think twice. And it plays right into the ambiguity Trump himself created with his sub-announcement.
Ah, right, because he didn't specify which kind of subs, did he? Nuclear-powered or nuclear-armed? Or exactly where they were going?
Exactly. That ambiguity is key.
White House officials called it strategic ambiguity. What does that actually mean, though? Is it effective, or does it just risk miscalculation?
Well, strategic ambiguity is standard practice sometimes. Keep your adversary guessing. Maintain flexibility. The Pentagon usually keeps submarine movements classified anyway, so in one sense, it's normal.
Okay.
Many security analysts initially thought, maybe this is more rhetorical than military. The U.S. already has nuclear-capable subs out there.
But didn't Trump clarify later?
He did. He told Newsmax the subs were moved closer to Russia, so that adds a bit more specificity, though still vague on exact location and type.
Okay, so this is where understanding the types of submarines becomes really crucial because it tells us what kind of signal might actually be intended.
Absolutely essential. So the U.S. Navy has 71 submarines, and first key point, they're all nuclear powered. That means they run on nuclear reactors, giving them incredible endurance.
Right. But power source isn't the same as armament.
Precisely. So let's break it down. First, you have the SSBNs, ballistic missile submarines. They call them boomers,
The big ones.
the biggest. 14 Ohio-class subs. They're designed for stealth, for hiding, and for delivering nuclear warheads. Each one can carry 20 Trident ballistic missiles. Each missile can have multiple warheads, and the range is huge, up to 4,600 miles.
So they don't need to be close to Russia to be a threat.
Exactly. Their whole point is stealth and reach. Their movements are top secret. Moving them closer might be more about sending a visible signal than tactical necessity.
Interesting. Okay, what else is in the fleet?
Then you have SSGNs, guided missile submarines. These are actually 4 converted Ohio-class subs. Instead of ballistic missiles, they carry up to 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles. These are conventional, high-explosive warheads for precision strikes. Range is about 1,000 miles.
Okay, so conventional strike power, plus they can carry troops.
Yeah, Special Operations Forces.
Mm.
Then the largest group is the SSNs, fast attack submarines. About 53 of them. These are the hunters, designed to take out enemy subs and surface ships with torpedoes. They can also carry some Tomahawks.
And that includes different classes, like Virginia, Los Angeles.
That's right. Virginia, Los Angeles, a few Seawolf class,
Yeah.
including the very specialized USS Jimmy Carter.
Okay, so quite a diverse fleet with very different capabilities. How does this stack up against Russia's, and what does it mean for the overall nuclear balance?
Well, looking at the big picture, the U.S. and Russia together, it's staggering. They hold nearly 87% of all nuclear weapons globally and about 83% of the deployed warheads. As of January 2025, the U.S. deploys roughly 1,419 strategic warheads, Russia around 1,549. So broadly comparable deployed numbers.
And Russia's submarine force.
Smaller in number in terms of nuclear-powered subs, fewer than 30 overall. That includes about 10 strategic SSBNs, their newer Bore class and older
Yeah.
Delta Fets.
So when you look at those numbers, that sheer concentration of power, what's the takeaway for stability? Does it force caution or something else?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Does overwhelming power ensure peace through deterrence, or does it make every single move, every statement, incredibly high stakes? There's not much room for error.
Yeah, it feels like walking a tightrope.
It really does. And this submarine move, you have to see it in that diplomatic context, too. Trump has been showing increasing frustration with Putin over the stalled Ukraine peace talks.
Right, he made that big campaign promise about ending the war in 24 hours.
He did. And he since called Russia's continued attacks on civilians disgusting. So this could be a pressure tactic, part of that larger diplomatic dance.
What's been Putin's reaction to the ultimatums?
Publicly, fairly dismissive. He said something like, disappointments arise from inflated expectations. He talks about wanting a lasting peace, but hasn't shown signs of making major concessions.
And Russia's official reaction to the submarines being moved.
Pretty muted, actually.
Yeah.
Neither the Kremlin nor Medvedev commented publicly, as far as we know, though one senior lawmaker, Viktor Vodolatsky, basically shrugged it off, claimed Russia has more subs, and U.S. subs are, quote, long been under their control, sort of implying it changes nothing.
Interesting dismissal.
But here's a key bit of history. Remember 2017? Trump announced sending 2 nuclear subs toward the Korean Peninsula.
Right, before his meeting with Kim Jong-un.
Exactly. So the question arises, is this a similar playbook? Is moving these subs less about immediate military action and more about setting the stage, maybe pressuring Putin towards talks or even a summit?
That's a really crucial comparison. So a potential diplomatic signal wrapped in a military move.
It certainly fits a pattern we've seen before.
Okay, so let's recap where we've landed. We've gone through that rapid-fire exchange between Trump and Medvedev. We've explored the dead hand concept, dived into the U.S. submarine fleet, the boomers, the guided missile subs, the attack subs, and their strategic roles.
And we've tried to place it all on that bigger geopolitical chessboard, U.S.-Russia relations, Ukraine, past actions. And I think the key takeaway really is how much words matter on this stage, how quickly rhetoric can escalate, and how military signaling, even if it is just signaling, remains a potent and potentially risky tool in international affairs.
Absolutely. Which leads to maybe a final thought for you, listening. Considering everything we've discussed, the high stakes, the immense power, the speed of social media, What do you think is the real long-term impact when world leaders use platforms like X or Truth Social for this kind of high-stakes diplomacy and, frankly, threat-making? Something to think about.